You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Oh yeah, baby, that's lovely.
We now wander off the beaten path with an update from the Reefer Reporter.
Hello and welcome to the Reefer Reporters. It's March the 21st and we are live here at the Pace Radio Show's Facebook and YouTube pages and will be podcasted at paceradio.net. I'm Al Graham and Reverend Kelly joins me here for the Legacy420.com news desk. Good morning, Reverend Kelly. How are we doing today?
Good morning, Al. Happy spring!
Yes.
The spring equinox was yesterday. It's fully spring now, and I can see it out my window with the sunshine. Can you see sunshine today?
Yes, we have sunshine here. Unfortunately, I'm in a windowless room, so I don't have any. I can't see it.
It's out mine.
Yes, well, it's lighting up your face.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice that it's spring and above zero temperatures. We're expecting that for the week and lots of rain and stuff like that. But I'm happy to see it. It's on our way to summer, and you know that it always feels good when it's this change of season, right?
That's right. Exactly. Okay, two things before we get into the news today.
Okay.
Last week you were off due to the March break. You're home with your son. You missed, I thought, was a pretty important story.
Oh,
that I wanted to touch base with you. In Alberta, in Calgary and stuff, they're looking at allowing lounges at festivals and events.
Yes. It's a wonderful change. And actually, I heard about this because I sit on the Canadian Cannabis Tourism Alliance board. And one of the gentlemen that's leading it is Nathan Meeson, who owns Fire and Flower and is quite big when it comes to lobbying and making changes. So he sent out that press release to us. And what a wonderful thing to see. I think if Alberta's going to do it, we're going to get it here, Al. We're going to get it here in Ontario.
Right. You know, it just takes one and it gets things rolling, right?
I know.
Yeah, I know.
know.
Good stuff. So hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Well, it would have already happened if there were no pandemic. It would have already happened.
Yeah.
So I think we're on our way. And if we see changes there, does that mean that we should go out there for vacation instead of staying in our own country, perhaps? We'll go to the festivals in Alberta.
Yeah, a staycation right here in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Because it should be the cannabis tourism destination in the world. Canada should be.
I have no argument with that. I think it's a good idea. All right. And the next thing I want to talk to you about was how was the lounge last week? You opened up.
We reopened. We had not had any big events. I just did counseling and Reiki here this year and had the store open a little, but we actually opened up for our very first Nug Swap this past weekend and welcomed our community back. We had a magazine come and cover the story. It was really nice to be able to see our members again.
Good. We covered it last Thursday here on the Reefer Report.
Oh, thank you for that.
I seen Tracy's news release, so Glenn and I covered it to let everybody know that you're back open again.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's nice to be back.
Yes, it is. All right. Talking about getting back, let's get into the news that's going on right now. And first story up says that Canadian cannabis retail sales shrunk to $347 million in January.
Oh, that's a big number to shrink to. The Canadian retail sales of regulated adult use cannabis totaled 347.2 million Canadian dollars. That was in January. It's according to a new data from the country's statistics authority.
Yeah, the January sales figures represent a 2.1% decline from retail sales of 354 million in December and 24% growth over January of 2021.
Okay, so it's up from a year ago, just down a little bit from the previously, which was Christmas, so that might have been Christmas presents, right? It's Canada's monthly record for cannabis sales was set in October of 2021, 364.2 million for that month. Wow.
Yeah, retail sales declined on a monthly basis in every province except two, according to what the figures say.
They say that sales in Ontario, which is Canada's largest provincial cannabis market, increased by 7.6 over December to 137 million in January, comprising 39.5 of the country's monthly total.
Yeah, well, you see here on the list,
Yeah.
Saskatchewan, they went up 1.5%.
Yeah.
Alberta, they're up. They actually went down.
Yeah.
Quebec went down. British Columbia went down. Manitoba went down. Nova Scotia went down. New Brunswick went down. Newfoundland went down.
Yeah, they all went down. Quebec, I know, was under lockdown for that month, so I wonder if that has anything to do with it. But I wonder also why these are down in January. Maybe people just hit a slump after Christmas spending. Could have been.
Yes.
We don't usually see a slump in cannabis. We usually see everything going up. So I'm wondering
That's
what
right.
this is for.
Exactly.
So the
Yeah.
January sales totaled 1.8 million in Canada's smallest province, which is PEI. Stats Canada did not provide a December figure for comparison for that province.
Yeah. The Data Bureau also reported $808,000 in sales in the Yukon Territory, and sales figures in Canada's remaining two provinces in territories such as Northwest Territories and Nunavut were not reported, they say.
Nice to see that those sales are almost at $1 million in the Yukon.
Yes.
That's still
Yes.
nice to see up
Well,
there.
you got to think it's not a very big place, right?
No, so
No.
that's pretty good. Good to see that they at least have access to cannabis up in that
Yeah,
territory.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
January cannabis retail sales in the select Canadian cities and month-over-month sales changes. A little bit up in Toronto, but mostly we're seeing declines for most of the provinces in the country.
Yeah. Hey, well, there's the Montreal, the Quebec thing you had mentioned. There you go, right there. It's down, eh?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Quebec City is down by 15%, and 20% in Gatineau
Yeah.
of
It
Quebec.
went up. It went up in Ottawa, up in British Columbia,
Yeah.
up in Toronto.
I'll be anxious to see what happens now that we're back into non-lockdown. People can go out and they can get their cannabis in these different provinces. So let's see what happened in February and March.
Yes, yeah, and I'm sure that there will be a report out
Yeah,
when they're available.
yeah,
We'll find out what's going on.
that's right.
Talking about what's going on out in BC? It looks like there's been sales going on because Tilray is selling Naomi's property as the cannabis giant leaves the city.
That's right. The property is located at Mon Road, a 5.5-acre lot with two industrial buildings. It was listed 2 weeks ago for $18.5 million.
And apparently there was many offers, multiple offers, according to the president, Kim Smith, and that's the president of the Greater Naomi Chamber of Commerce. She says we have a real shortage of industrial and light industrial land in Naomi and in the area. So this would have been a pretty attractive spot for someone else to move into.
Okay, it sounds like maybe they're not even moving cannabis in there.
No.
Smythe was among those trying to convince the Nanaimo City Council a decade ago that having Tilray in the city was a good idea.
Yeah, Tilray arrived in 2014 with much fanfare and investment and spending $25 million locally in its first year.
Wow, absolutely
Yeah.
groundbreaking. There was nothing like it in Canada. We were the first, says Smythe.
Yeah, at its peak, it had more than 200 employees working there, and systematic changes are coming through the federal government recreational through back in 2018, so on and so forth.
They've gone under, it seems. They have to sell off for considerably less than what they paid. And I'm wondering if it's because of the lack of medical cannabis out there now. Now they're just using adult use cannabis. Do you think that's what it is?
I'm not sure. Well, there was all the Tilray and Afura. They merged, and who knows? This property just probably became wasn't needed anymore.
Okay, they say that it was 10 years ago when we had to fight to get Tilray here, get it open. That's 10 years. What we've been through in 10 years, culture's changed, attitudes around cannabis have changed. Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of things
Shocking.
changed. Yeah, yeah. So and now that's changed. It's no longer there, and who knows? It's a new factory. Maybe it's a storage unit.
They even say at the end here, the buyer with the accepted offer is not in the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad, Tilray. Sorry to hear that story.
Yes. Yes. All right, on to our next headline, because what it's telling us is that the AGLC and police re-examining cannabis store rules after spat of violent crimes. Good
Stores,
thing.
the good thing, stores are saying that window coverings give cover for robbers to assault the staff and steal the product.
It makes it unsafe for the customers on top of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it
The
does.
Alberta Gaming, Liquor, and Cannabis Control Board is looking at possible changes as its rules around product displays in cannabis stores as Calgary experiences a rise in crimes targeting the retailers.
So stores around the city are complaining that the window coverings seen at many locations are providing cover for robbers to assault staff and steal.
Yeah, Ashley Newman, the founder of Queen of Bud, she says that this has been a major concern for us since the beginning. We took our window coverings down because of it. Robberies could have been prevented and staff could have been protected if someone driving by or in the parking lot could see someone being held at gunpoint or a robbery was taking place. Exactly.
Absolutely. Window coverings are not mandated by federal or provincial cannabis legislation. However, the products cannot be displayed where a young person can see them or be visible from outside the premises.
Yep, vinyl, paper, or signage covering the storefront windows is the most common way stores comply with that requirement, according to the AGLC. Some stores split up the floor plan with walls to comply with visibility rules and avoid window coverings.
Yes, that's what I see a lot of here in
Yeah,
Ontario.
I was talking to a new store in our neck of the woods
Yep.
there on Saturday, and that's what they've done. They've put a wall up, shortened it up, so that they don't have to cover the whole window.
Yep.
And they've got some, what was it? Banner in positions where it would block stuff, so people
Yes.
couldn't see product.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
what has to happen, I guess.
Yeah.
Police say they've seen a major uptick in the last 18 months in these crimes targeting cannabis retailers, and more are turning violent.
Yeah, Sergeant Nick Wilshire of the Calgary Police Services Crime Prevention Team says, "We certainly haven't seen anything like this. There's been an odd robbery here and there, but nothing like a consistent trend until 2021.
And that's it. They're saying that's the biggest issue that we have is the coverings on stores.
Yeah, exactly. It should be a big issue. Exactly. It's unsafe. They don't make you put coverings over top of other windows or block people from
No.
buying, seeing things bought. The only other thing I can think of is sex shops.
Well, but you walk into the LCBO and it's ceiling to floor windows. Everything is
Yeah.
window there. You look right in there. You see everybody. You
Oh
see all
yeah.
the liquor,
And
all the wine.
the tills are right there. Normally, the ones that I'm around.
Yep.
You
Yep.
go up in the
When you
windows, you can see the
when you go in a
till.
grocery store, you walk out and look, there's that big wine. Everybody, all those big grocery stores have wine stores right as you go out, and you can see all the bottles of wine.
Well, there you go.
Everything, and kids are around with their mummies and daddies in carts.
Yeah.
Come on, this isn't
Yeah.
fair.
That's right. It's not. It's not. All right. They say there were 29 cannabis store robberies last year and 10 so far this year. Almost half involved violence or threats of violence. Police have started suggesting owners remove the window coverings.
Good. Good.
Good.
Wilshire said the police service told the AGLC that other options need to be explored, such as reducing the height of the window coverings or removing them altogether. CPS has also suggested stores have functioning panic alarms, improve the placement of security cameras, and store their stock in a vault.
Yeah, it should be. Rob Pape, the director of compliance for the AGLC, says that we're looking into that situation right now and considering our options. Pape added that these crimes have become much more prevalent, prompting discussions about tweaking provincial policy.
And the AGLC supports enforcement of the Federal Cannabis Act and has enacted its own policy handbook provincially. Any changes being considered have to be done in consultation with Health Canada.
Yeah, they say that we're talking to our partners in law enforcement just to see what options that there could be. Well, let's hope they come up with some safe options.
Let's hope that it happens here. I haven't heard of too much violent crime happening in our province in cannabis stores, but I mean, it could happen. Of course, they're forced to cover them here. Certainly,
Yes,
windows.
Yeah, they are. That's the thing. It's unfortunate. It's not right. I'm totally against that. Those window coverings. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. All right. On to our next story as we head south to the U.S. U.S. and Canadian cannabis sales will hit new highs this 420.
Oh, I like that. I like hearing that. The cannabis sales in Canada and the United States are set to soar on this year's biggest stoner holiday, according to a new report.
Yeah, on Thursday, the cannabis analytics firm Headset released data on projected sales, discounts, and others for April 20th, with sales expected to at least double in the U.S. and spike more than 50% here in Canada.
Oh, it's one of my favorite days of the year. According to Headset analysts, 420 has been the largest single day for retail cannabis every year since legalization, driven by a steep increase in transaction volume.
What do you think, Kelly? You
Yeah,
think that maybe it wasn't just for legalization? It's
yeah,
probably
every year.
been pretty big for many years.
Every year. The marches, the parades, we've been
That's
we've been
right.
singing our praise for 420 forever now, and now they're able to track it.
That's right, exactly. The firm says stores should expect about double the amount of customers they normally serve in April. They say the previous 420's average sales surged less in Canada, spiking 59% in 2021. In the US, the daily sales spiked 113%, doubled.
That's our
Oh,
high holiday. That's our high holiday.
that's
Uh,
right, it is.
to calculate the growth, Headset compared 420 sales to average of the previous 4 same days of the week. Look at those graphs.
There you go.
I love it. I love it.
The report also shows that the increased buying behavior is more pronounced among women and younger customers. Sales to women increased by 140% on the holiday.
Woo!
Yeah.
Cheer them on. Analysts noted that there have been shifts in category popularity compared to last year. They're talking about March 2021 to February 22. Dried flower market share in the U.S. dropped from 46% to 41%, while pre-roll share was up 25%. Vapor pens were up by 14%, and edibles were up by 12%.
Yep.
Wonderful. Love it.
In the US, beverages saw the most growth in popularity over the past two 420s. Other trending products include edibles, concentrates, dried flower, and pre rolls. Vape pens are one of the lower growth categories.
Got one right now. Although a lot has
Yes.
changed in the cannabis industry since last 420, we know one thing for sure: cannabis consumers will want to celebrate the occasion this year, and they're expecting some deals.
Yes, they're
Yeah.
expecting some deals. That's right. Headset recommends companies understand that their customers want and keep the shelves stocked to be ready for the celebration.
And the cannabis industry moves fast. And if you're not going to keep up with the most recent trends, you may be left behind.
That's right. Yes, you
That's
may
good
be.
news. Good advice for all these new store owners.
Yes, it is. Now, I dropped the screen there as far as the story goes, but within there, it mentioned about how the woman the amount that they consumed went up 140%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, we've got a story right after we come back from break that we're gonna have a discussion about cannabis and women
Okay.
and access. But before we get to that, we're gonna have another story because we have to get this fifth story.
One more. Just
One
one
more.
more.
But after break,
Okay.
we'll tie those in together. All right. This story. It says that according to Marijuana Moment, federal marijuana cases continue to decline with fewer than 1,000 cannabis charges in 2021.
I like hearing that. Federal prosecutions over cannabis dropped again in 2021 with fewer than 1,000 people charged in cannabis trafficking cases. Yet another sign that the plant is becoming a lower enforcement priority as the legalization movement scores
Oh,
wins in more states.
and why is it still illegal?
I don't know.
There were 996 federal cannabis trafficking cases last year, according to an analyst from the federal U.S. Sentencing Commission. Those cannabis busts account for 5.7% of the total drug-related cases that went through the federal justice system in fiscal year 2021.
This represents a continuation of a trend that's been playing out in recent years, especially as more states have moved to legalize cannabis and federal officials have seemingly adopted policies placing less emphasis on going after people over cannabis. In 2022, USCC documented 1,118 cannabis cases.
So there you go. They dropped down 10%.
Yep.
Right. Federal prosecutions of drug-related crimes overall increased in 2019, but cases involving cannabis dropped by more than a quarter, according to an end-of-year report released by the Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts that year.
Now, in contrast, USCC reported that there were more than 7,000 federal cannabis cases in 2012, the year when voters in 2 states approved adult use legalization initiatives at the ballot. At that point, cannabis topped the list of drugs that were involved in federal cases. Now, cannabis is at the bottom of that
There
list.
you go.
Woo!
There you go. Look at
That's nice.
Yeah. Now, according to Normal Director Paul Armoretto, he says that although Congress has failed to amend federal cannabis laws, clearly the attitudes and priorities of federal prosecutors had shifted in the area of state-level cannabis legalization. Now it's time for the federal lawmakers to codify these changes and priorities by descheduling cannabis.
Please do that.
Please.
Also, the USCC report found that the average sentence for a cannabis trafficking case was 30 months, about half of that typically imposed for busts involving cocaine, fentanyl, and heroin. Meth-related charges result in the highest average sentence at 90 months.
Yeah, despite this downward trend in federal cannabis prosecutions, America's outdated federal laws are still having a significant and unnecessary impact on real people's lives, according to the Normal political director Morgan Fox. She goes on to say that Congress has the opportunity to change that.
I love that. Fox saying also, lawmakers must continue to build momentum to end our failed cannabis prohibition policies and help those that have been unjustly hurt by them. Saying, we urge House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to hold a floor vote in the Cannabis Opportunity, Reinvestment, and Expungement Act immediately, and sincerely hope that the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer sticks to his planned April introduction of the Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act.
Yeah. Advocates have argued that the year-over-year decline in cannabis cases corresponds with a growing number of sales or states that have implemented legalization and provided consumers with legal outlets to purchase the product. And it also reflects the federal deprioritization of pursuing cannabis cases despite ongoing prohibition as the war on cannabis continues to lose voters' support.
Right?
That's
A study released by the Cato Institute in 2018 found that state-level cannabis legalization has significantly undercut cannabis smuggling. That's one. Data from the FBI was released in 2020 showing that for the first time in 4 years, cannabis arrests declined nationally.
Good stuff.
Right?
That's right. That's good.
Check.
Yeah.
Please make it legal.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
the check
exactly.
boxes are being checked. There's no issues. Only good things happening. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. While there may not be a single factor contributing to these trends, it seems likely to continue, both because more states are working to end prohibition, because the federal Justice Department is being led by an Attorney General who has repeatedly said that low-level cannabis enforcement is a waste of resources.
See?
Yeah.
At the same time, congressional lawmakers are also taking steps to legalize at the federal level. That's good.
Yeah.
At least they're trying.
They're trying. Exactly. They're trying. You know, things are happening slowly. And in time, it'll change.
Okay.
It'll change. Yeah. We got a comment here.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. And I would say it had to do with the cannabis sales going on in Canada article. It's been here since the beginning of the show, so I just seen it in here now. It's from Debbie Stokes-Giffen. She says, and again, Canada ends at Quebec. She must be disappointed that the sales were so low, and some of the laws that they brought in, like not allowed to grow cannabis in Quebec.
I know. You can't wear a shirt with cannabis on it.
Yeah.
In Quebec. You get what? With a plant leaf on it. No. No.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah. They need to change attitudes. And as we've reported in the past, people who are 19 years of age, 19 to 21, if they're close to the Ontario border, where are they going? They're coming over here.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
So,
right. But
all
you
right.
can go, you have 18 to drink in Quebec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
18 to drink, but you
And
gotta be
21 for cannabis. No, I know.
That's gotta change. That's gotta change. That's gotta change. All right. Let's see. It's time for us to take a medication break. Reverend Kelly and I will be right back after our session. You're listening or watching to the Reefer Reporters here on the Pace Radio Network Facebook and YouTube pages, or maybe you're catching the podcast afterwards at paceradio.net. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. Visit our hydroponics superstore at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville and we'll show you how to grow your own quality cannabis for pennies per gram. We're open Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 613-967-9888. BMA Hydroponics. It's worth the drive.
The only way to go.
Hi folks, Scott from stfattiesday.com here, and we're absolutely stoked to tell you about our brand new program called Pass the Peace Pipe and our partnership with Legacy 420 out of Nanaimo. We are absolutely proud to be partners with these people. They are an amazing group that have helped so many people with their amazing cannabis medicinal products. And we are working together to gather funds to build the first ever Indigenous specific opioid addiction center here in the Bay of Quinte area on Tyson land. So we need your help. We need you to repost this video and go to our GoFundMe campaign, because on this October 17th, St. Fatty's Day, we are going to be starting the campaign where we pass the peace pipe from one side of the country to another to unite our country, to gather awareness, but most importantly, funds to build opioid addiction centers across the nation, one build at a time.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. And you're watching the Reefer Reporters, and we are live here on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook and YouTube pages, then podcasted afterwards at paceradio.net. Well, Reverend Kelly, we got, 5 more stories to cover?
Woo!
And this next story is the story that I was letting people know a bit about before the break, when we were talking about how the women have increased the consumption of cannabis by 140%.
Yes.
Right? Well, I'm not sure about Alabama.
Yeah.
Right? And that is because the headline here in Fresh Toast says that Alabama senator says that women need to prove they're not pregnant to buy medical marijuana.
Oh my goodness. It's Alabama State Senator Larry Stutz. He introduced a bill this week that would require a woman of childbearing age to present proof that they're not pregnant in order to purchase medical cannabis products. Let me just tell you, Al, you found this article. It's going to get me a little fired up here. I might be a little bit fired up reading this one.
Fire away, because I'll fire with you.
I know you will. Oh, my God.
I just could not believe that headline when I read it. And I went in and read the story all the way through, and just,
oh my God.
It's yeah. Well, let's read it and let's show people why.
Yes. If passed, the bill would amend Alabama's 2021 medical cannabis law. It requires dispensaries to ask women between the ages of 25 and 50 to provide a negative pregnancy test, either from her physician or documentation from a certified medical lab that has been ordered by a physician licensed in Alabama. Oh my God.
Yes, Marijuana Moment, which first reported this story, noted that the documentation must be dated within 48 hours of purchase before a woman can buy medical cannabis, and that women who are breastfeeding would also be barred from buying medical cannabis products.
Oh my God. There's a quote. The legislation says any registered qualified patient who becomes pregnant shall report her pregnancy status to her registered certifying physician and shall be prohibited from obtaining medical cannabis throughout the pregnancy. The legislation says that. Al.
Yeah. Emma Roth, staff attorney at National Advocates for Pregnant Women, told Marijuana Moment the bill would violate women's rights to privacy and equal protection under the 14th Amendment.
Oh, thank you, Emma Roth, for stating that, saying that it's another attempt to police pregnancy in the name of the fetus when medical cannabis poses no greater harm than any other common exposures during pregnancy. Ding. And where will the states reach end? Would a negative pregnancy test be required to be around smokers, to drink coffee, or to work a factory job? Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Ross also cited 2020 specific report that concludes current evidence does not suggest that prenatal cannabis exposure alone is associated with clinically significant cognitive functioning disimpairments.
I'm going to say right now and state here that I know hundreds of women that have consumed cannabis during pregnancy and their children are fine. If not just fine, but even beyond fine.
Yeah, I can vouch for some of that myself.
Yes. So this article is fear, and it can be scary to hear this. And I can say in direct contrast, I myself have a wonderful, beautiful boy, and I consumed cannabis during my pregnancy. So thank you very much, Alabama, for shining a dark spotlight on this beautiful plant.
Exactly. It's
terrible.
They say here that, the marijuana bill is law now, but if you're going to have that as a law, we need to get some perimeters, according to Stutz. I think it can be proved, and one of the ways it can be improved is to limit pregnant people using it, limit their availability to it. And it says pregnant people with a question mark. Now Stutz is their rap.
I can't even. I mean, it's just out there, like it's just proposed. This hasn't been written into law, but it just. I mean, there are some women that will say that they need it for their nausea. They will say they need it. There's some theories out there that when you're gestating a child, it helps with the gestation. It helps with the functioning, that we as babies need that in Virto for our cannabinoid system, for our ECS. There's so much science to prove a contrary to this. So it's very silly that Alabama, but isn't Alabama the state that wants to abolish abortions as well, I believe?
Yeah.
So what's going on down there? Like they're hurting babies.
It just doesn't,
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Sense.
What's going on in Alabama?
Yeah, it's just control. Like they said, controlling the insides of the woman, on every front.
Well, at least they have this wonderful woman speaking up for women's rights.
Yeah, exactly. All right, on to our next story, which is somebody changing their mind. Headline here says that Marijuana Moment, the senator who previously opposed cannabis legalization, says he was wrong about increased youth use.
Changes are going to be made. When Senator John Hickenlooper served as governor of Colorado in 2012, he unsuccessfully tried to convince voters to reject a ballot initiative to legalize cannabis, in large part because he worried it would encourage more use by young people. But with years of data now generated by his state and others that have since enacted legalization, he admitted that his concern was unfounded.
Yet the senator recorded a video message for an event organized by the Coalition of Cannabis Policy, Education, and Regulation on Thursday, in which he talked about Colorado's history with legalization and focused on clearing up misconceptions around the impact of that reform on underage consumption.
Now, around the time of Colorado's historic 2012 legalization vote at the ballot, Hickenlooper was known to say that the measure sends the wrong message to kids. Now, as a U.S. senator, he's a champion of the reform, touting the state's progress and calling for federal descheduling.
Well, at least he's calling for descheduling now. That's good. Let's see here. He says that he said at the event that we really did lead the way in cannabis legalization. It's been 10 years since we legalized recreational marijuana through an Amendment 64 statewide citizen-driven initiative that I opposed. I didn't want Colorado to be the experiment, the petri dish for one of the great social experiments of the century so far, and we legalized it even though I opposed it.
Yeah, he goes on to say, I think we created a pretty good framework. Most of the other states have either followed it or wish they followed it. Why is he saying we when he opposed it? Oh, now he's on board?
Taking credit.
Come on.
Credit. Well, at least he does admit he was against it.
He does, but he can't say we if he's opposed it. He says, a big focus for me was that I was so nervous about kids, including his own younger children who might use cannabis more frequently if the state legalized.
I think we've proven and demonstrated that there is no increase in experimentation among teenagers. There is no change in frequency use, no change in driving while high. All the things we most feared about didn't come to pass.
Right.
It sounds a lot like our local representative around here.
Exactly. Yeah. Council. But they're so worried about this. Why aren't they worried about alcohol for their teenagers? Why didn't he oppose any alcohol in his state? It just doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense.
The senator also talked about tax revenue from cannabis sales going to support the state's public education system, something that Colorado Treasurer Dave Young also emphasized during an interview with Marijuana Moment on Thursday.
Yeah, and as an aside, Hickenlooper also stressed the importance of criminal justice aspects of enacting the reform. The former governor says there's got to be some level of equality and making sure that the communities that have been most burdened and damaged by the war on drugs gets a fair shot at opportunities for entrepreneurship.
I like when they add in verbiage like that. Now, at the same time, we're protecting youth again. It's an amazing thing to me, he said. I was pretty surprised that the data overwhelmingly showed again and again this was a situation where the data that came out was different than almost everyone expected.
Yeah, he said that data contains the most compelling reasons why we should deschedule cannabis on a national level and let states make up their own mind about how they want to go about implementing cannabis in their own states, just like we do with alcohol.
Now, as Hickenlooper has said previously, while youth use not increased, more elderly residents have begun patronizing cannabis shops. Another positive.
And what do you think that maybe that could be because, seniors' use has increased because of the medical benefits of it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. The report points to studies that plainly contradict claims often made by prohibitionists that creating regulated cannabis markets would lead more to underage people to consume cannabis.
One of the most recent surveys stressed that youth cannabis use decreased significantly in 2021, as did teen consumption of illicit substances overall.
Yep. Now, related to the report's findings and the senator's remarks, the National Institute on Drug Abuse Director Nora Volkow has also conceded that her earlier concerns about increases in youth cannabis consumption resulting from legalization have so far proved unfounded, describing it as a surprising finding in an interview with Marijuana Moment earlier.
Okay, so if all these people that were against it are now coming out and going, I made a mistake. Sorry, I'm eating my words. We're eating crow now. How much closer can we be to legalization federally for them? It should be. These are steps. These are big people. These are people that have said no, 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 and now they're saying, "Oh, okay, well, I made a mistake. It's not that bad."
Well, it's good to see that they've admitted that they've made a mistake, and it's
Yes.
time to move on, literally, and do the right thing. The sky didn't fall.
Yep.
And that's what I've told our council. Sky didn't fall.
It didn't.
No.
Nobody's died. There's not been extra charges. Nobody's going crazy. We're good here.
You're good here. Well, talking about good, let's move on to some good news. And this headline here by the Fresh Toast says that what are the benefits of using cannabis for digestive disorders?
Ooh. Digestive and gastrointestinal disorders affect millions of people worldwide and refer to a myriad of conditions affecting digestion, appetite, the bowels, gas, inflammation, to name a few. Cannabis has been proven many times to help treat and prevent several digestive disorders that plague people every day, some of them so debilitating that they prevent people from living normal lives.
Yep, the human body has endocannabinoid receptors, CB1 and 2, in the gut and in the stomach, all of which help to heal us from this digestive issues while improving motility, appetite, absorption, and overall gastrointestinal health when we medicate with cannabis, either THC, CBD, or both. However, you don't necessarily have to consume cannabis orally through food, capsules, or drinks in order to benefit your stomach. You can also smoke, vaporize, or place drops under your tongue, specifically since these consumption methods work fastest.
Wonderful.
And they did.
Yes.
They did.
Now, consuming cannabis has proven to be beneficial for treating the conditions in many people, especially since conventional treatments don't always work as well. They also come with unwanted side effects. And here are some of the common digestive disorders that cannabis can treat.
Yep, IBD, inflammatory bowel disease. They say that studies show that when patients with IBD consume cannabis, it can benefit them in several ways, such as by relaxing the esophageal sphincter, reducing gastric motility, improving some pain and bowel motility, and much more. And that bowel motility is moving things along.
Okay, so they talk about appetite loss.
Yeah.
Losing one's appetite can be detrimental for health because eating is the primary way the body takes in nutrients and vitamins. And so chronic appetite loss can lead to malnutrition. It helps with that.
Yes, it does. Irritable bowel syndrome, that's IBS, is a common gastrointestinal condition affecting the large intestines. They say that while most patients can see relief after one off cycle of antibiotics, others have to keep treating it again and again. Yes, they do. And this is why other medications as well as lifestyle changes can be necessary for it to be fully treated. It's critical to treat IBS and see a doctor. Yeah.
Yes.
I can tell you about that.
Absolutely. We have the acid reflux. Its impact on how we enjoy our food. And they're saying that cannabis is helping with that. Really good feedback on that as well.
Yep. And the bottom line is, if you're struggling with gastrointestinal disorders, trying cannabis can be beneficial, especially when combined with lifestyle changes, a healthy diet, and exercise. Remember that self-medicating may not be the best in the case of these severe symptoms. So always talk to your doctor about things.
Yes.
And that's what I did. I talked to my doctor about things.
Yeah.
Because I deal with Crohn's disease.
Right. And that affects your belly as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, Crohn's disease got me tip of my lips to the tip of your butt, man.
Yeah.
It goes from one end to the other.
Right.
Yeah. And, I talked to my doctor about cannabis pretty early on in my condition, and he agreed there's a lot of benefits to it.
Yeah.
But he wanted to try conventional medicine first.
Yes.
So once you got me onto these other drugs that were made with frogs or something. What was it? Rats.
Oh no.
Yeah, I talked to him about cannabis again, and he was all for it. So
Good.
yeah,
And
no
it's
problem.
been
No
your
problem.
medicine ever since.
Yeah, yeah. Cannabis has been, I do have some. I have to take a Crohn's treatment every 8 weeks, but other than that, mainly cannabis. Yeah.
Nice to hear.
Yeah. All right. On to some more medical information, and that is the fact that cannabis treatment demonstrates good efficacy and tolerability in patients with Tourette syndrome.
Which is also a debilitating, I don't know if it's an infliction, but it's also can be very debilitating for those that have it. And they're saying that they can benefit from it. It's published in the Journal of Behavioral Neurology. 15 patients. They took part in the Israeli-based study. After 12 weeks of treatment, researchers noted an average of 38% reduction in the tic severity using the Yale Global Tic Severity Scale.
Yeah, additionally, 60% of the patients reported improved sleep, 50% reported an improvement in mood, 47% said they improved their libido.
Wow, good. Now, 18 patients initially entered the study. 3 did not reach the follow-up period because of psychiatric side effects, including panic attacks and anxiety. And the researchers note the issues were resolved with treatment modification, while 1 patient stopped treatment altogether due to worsening obsessive compulsive disorder.
Modification could have been just a
Sure.
reduction in the amount of cannabis because they're just getting too high, eh?
Or changing the cannabinoids, more CBD, less THC.
Yeah. Patients found that the most relief in high THC, low CBD products, and 80% consumed smoking.
Okay. Now, the study's authors concluded that medical cannabis is effective and well tolerated in adults with Tourette syndrome.
Yes. Now, the researchers wrote that from our data, it is suggested that medical cannabis might be a treatment option for resistant TS patients, and medical cannabis has a significant effect on tics, premonitory urges, and patients' overall quality of life.
Wow.
That's important. That last
Huge.
Sure.
Last year, a case report out of Europe demonstrated a dramatic reduction in severe tics in a man using, which is a spray containing various cannabinoids.
Yeah, now box smallows,
Are
a
those the real ones?
pharmaceutical-based product.
Are they the real cannabinoids, Al, or the petri
I
dish?
don't know.
I don't know
I
either.
don't know. They said that the 25-year-old man noted an increase in motor and vocal tics after stopping his daily use of cannabis a few weeks prior.
That's interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
Doctors first prescribed 300 milligram day of this type of cannabinoid concoction, which blocks dopamine receptors in the brain, but it had little effect.
Now, after 3 doses in 15-minute intervals of nabexmols, the man's symptoms were reduced by 90%.
Okay. So it's saying that the spray does include THC and CBD. I'm hoping that they're real cannabinoids from the plant. But
Yeah.
regardless, they're using the cannabinoids
And you
to.
see there, it's a 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
It's so important.
So important.
Yeah, 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
All right, now our next story. This one here, it probably caught your ear, didn't it?
It's one of my most favorite stories I've heard in a long time.
All right, here's the headline that we're all following here. It says that Mike Tyson is selling ear-shaped cannabis-infused edibles called Mike Bites.
Look at the picture. I love the picture. Okay, it's
I'm
more than 2 decades.
I'm assuming you know the backstory to this.
Do you remember it? It was 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
And Mike Tyson bit off a chunk of Evander Holyfield's ear. It was 1997. It was during the heavyweight championship fight. It was the legendary boxer. He now released a line of edibles in the shape of ears.
Yeah, the infused gummies are called Mike Bites in homage to Tyson's most notorious moment. Yeah, Holyfield, the only 4-time world champion, heavyweight champion, defeated Tyson at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Los Angeles in 1996. The following year, during the heavily anticipated rematch, Titan bit off a small section of Holyfield's ear, spit it onto the canvas, and was promptly disqualified. I guess so. The gory incident marked the rematch as one of the most bizarre fights in the history of boxing.
Or the history of anything
I
ever.
guess.
Like gladiator sports, maybe that was happening. Now, Tyson, who was the youngest boxer ever to win a heavyweight title, he's launched several cannabis related ventures in recent years. He loves cannabis. He's such an advocate for cannabis. He talks about it passionately. He goes to conferences, he goes to expos. He has Tyson's Ranch, which is cannabis related. It's Tyson 2.0, and the company is releasing Mike Bites. It describes itself as a premier cannabis company formed with legendary boxer, entrepreneur, and icon Mike Tyson. In 2021, the company expanded its sales to over 100 locations in California. Just one state has 100 locations. Yeah.
He says that they taste very good. And of course he's going to say that. Yeah, Tyson is part of a wave of celebrities who have launched their own cannabis-related products and brands. In 2015, Snoop Dogg debuted Leafs by Snoop, a brand line of cannabis products, which, just so you know, Kelly, on a side note, that went to court, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And in 2019, hip-hop artist Drake announced that he was going to business with a Canadian cannabis firm. Joining the trend, Martha Stewart launched her own line of CBD of infused dog treats in 2021. And Real White released a strain of, wait for it, purple Urkel cannabis. Yeah, the Leafs thing, well, that was over because of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yep.
The logo was very similar. Yeah.
Yep. So they had to be careful. This purple Urkel, which is an excellent cultivar, is by the purple guy. Do you remember him? Jaleel White. He was on that TV show. What was it? And he was a nerdy guy, and he was Steve Urkel. Do you remember that?
Steve Urkel with the big glasses.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah,
So
and the suspenders and everything.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So now his purple Urkel strain, as they call it, is really popular, and he's the face of it now. So these celebrities are really, really getting on board, including Mike Tyson. Now, he's not been shy about his strong relationship with cannabis. The former heavyweight champion admitted in 2019 that he spends a whopping $40,000 a month on weed at his 40-acre cannabis ranch. His whole ranch is a cannabis ranch. He opened the farm in 2018 after California legalized recreational cannabis. His 2.0 website explains that when Mike was in his prime, he used cannabis to relax his body and focus on his mind. Oh my gosh, there's a picture.
There's a picture.
There's a picture and there's all blood on it, Al. Don't look.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Just so you know, Tyson and Holyfield have reconciled since the infamous big fight. The two appeared in a humorous Foot Locker ad together. And in 2014, Tyson delivered the speech for Holyfield's induction into the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So there you go. They're getting along just fine, obviously.
They are. Look at that. The ears. And it has a little bite out. The gummy has a little bite out of the top of the ear. I hope that the Holyfield man gets to have some. Mike Tyson should just send him some packages for free.
Yeah. Now, $40,000 a month in consumption.
No, that's what he says. He grows, of course, at his ranch. But yeah, that's what he says. He likes his extracts. He also really likes psychedelics and speaks highly about how they changed his life and opened up his mind and saved his soul, he says.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I've seen some of the headlines. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Exactly. Well, that's it. That's all the stories for the day, other than some other personal news here. What's up with the lounge this week?
Oh, well, we're just reopened again. We're open every day, Wednesday to Sunday with regular hours. We've got some shows, virtual shows that we're doing, and we'll have some events like trivia and cannabis bingo. Weed bingo is what they're calling it, coming up soon.
Weed bingo. All right. Good stuff.
Thanks,
just to let everybody know that Reefer Reporters return Thursday with new joint host Glenn Prentice will be back. And another network note is that tonight is the last broadcast of the Canada Quebec connection with Loretta and Tamara. They are investigating a new show. They've just felt that it's maybe come to an end, and they want to start a new show. So they're going to talk about it tonight on the ending of the Canada Quebec and letting everybody know what the new show is going to be and what it's all going to be about.
I love them. I can't wait, ladies. Can't wait to hear.
All right. Sounds good. I agree. Well, other than that, from the Legacy420.com news desk, that's a Reefer report for March the 21st, 2021. Thanks to our sponsors, Legacy420.com, BMAHydroponics.com, the Camelford Lifestyle Shop, as well as Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions. You can find him at drbuckcds.com. Until the next time, don't forget to educate, medicate, and do not incarcerate. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. Visit our hydroponics superstore at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville and we'll show you how to grow your own quality cannabis for pennies per gram. We're open Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 613-967-9888. BMA Hydroponics. It's worth the drive.
The only way to go.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.